say hi, but I'm just way too shy. I gotta make you see this. Hey y'all, it's Kayla B, also known as KB. I'm back with another video, and today I'm gonna switch it up a little. As you see from the title, I have lupus. My journey with lupus really started like a year ago, and I've been trying to figure out like where exactly I want to go with my Instagram and what I want to do with my YouTube channel. And I found out recently that Lupus Awareness Month is starting today when y'all see this video, May 1st, and I just wanted to like bring more light to lupus because people aren't really educated about lupus and they don't realize how serious it is. So I'm just using this video to tell y'all about my journey with lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease or disorder in which the body the immune system attacks its own tissue. So like my body is in a constant fight against its own self. And basically there are 4 types of lupus. There's systemic lupus, and that's basically where it affects different organs and all of that. There's cutaneous lupus, and that is where it attacks your skin. There's neonatal, in which it's really, really rare and it affects infants. And then there's drug-induced lupus. Drug-induced lupus is basically where you're taking a medication that can give you side effects of lupus-like symptoms. Basically, like you'd have like pain and joint swelling and just like arthritis type symptoms, and you just have to stop taking the medication because that's what's causing those symptoms, and you don't actually have lupus. And that's like the only is it curable? I don't know. I just know that I have actually a mixed connective tissue disease, and that is where I have rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, but it's Lupus Awareness Month, so that's what I'm talking about. Basically, my journey started almost a year ago, back in, well, honestly, it started earlier than that, but I really didn't realize, which is really crazy because I was a cheerleader and I was a gymnast and I tumbled, and like last year was my last year cheering, and like it just started hurting to tumble, and that's never happened before, but it all kind of makes sense now. But basically last summer, one day I just like my joints started swelling, like my wrist and my fingertips just started hurting, like they got really painful, and eventually they started swelling, they were hot, and I was like, okay, what's going on? I was like, I don't know, but it started to spread, and it like went up my arm, it was my back, but my back kind of stopped, and then what followed by was just like the rest of my joints, and eventually it hurt to walk, like I could not walk, and we didn't know what was going on. So we called my doctor, and they basically prescribed me prednisone, which is a steroid that helps like reduce inflammation and like infection, and it worked, but it was a pack. It was 6 days, and after that 6th day everything went back to normal and started all over again. So I went to the doctor, he prescribed me prednisone again, we got the test, all the tests that he tested me for came back negative. So then we had to like just take the pack, and it just start all over. And I think it might have went away for a little while, but my cousins had came in town, and I took them to my friend's house to go swimming one day, and it was hot outside, which I did not know affected me, and I started getting sore again. So I was like, let me get in this hot tub. I had like a full outfit on. I didn't have a swimsuit on, like I had full clothes on, like I had just did my hair and everything, and I got in the hot tub, deep body. I was like, bro, I gotta get in the hot tub. So I got in the hot tub, and it just got worse, and so I was like, I'm about to take them home because I don't feel good. Took them home. It like hurt to drive, and this is how it was before, bro. So like I couldn't do anything. Like when I tell you, when I was stiff like this, it hurt to open the door, it hurt to unlock my phone. I like wasn't on my phone. It just hurt to walk, it just hurt to move, to get out of bed, all of that stuff. Like it just, everything hurt. Like it was like bro, on SpongeBob, whenever that man, he's like broken.
I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms. At night, I lie awake in agony until my heart attacks put me to sleep. Oh, no! No!
but like that's how it was. And like the way that I was walking was actually funny because I couldn't move. I was like in my friend's car at one point trying to like dance to music, and I couldn't even get into it because like it just looked crazy. It felt crazy, like I was just crazy. So I got home. I was like, I don't feel good. I'm about to lay down. So I lay down. Like, we don't know what's going on. I lay down and it hurts to breathe. So then I start crying. And like, my mom takes me to the hospital. She's like, you want to go to the hospital? I was like, yes. So we go to the hospital and they take my blood. They like do a test on my lungs and all of that stuff to see what's going on. I think, did I do an MRI? Then yeah, I did an MRI then just to see if there was something wrong with my rib. Then they stuck an IV in me, stuck more steroids in me, and then prescribed me steroids because they didn't know what was happening either. And the thing about it though is whenever I don't remember if it was this time that I went to my doctor or the next time I went to follow up with my doctor, because after this I had to follow up at my doctor because the hospital took more tests on me and they redid the test that my doctor initially did just because he had me on prednisone and maybe like that had affected my results. So we go to follow up with him, and yeah, he was like, we're just gonna get more results. I'm gonna take a few more tests, blah blah blah, because I think the ones at the hospital came back negative too. So he took more tests because we got to figure out what's going on. And basically he was just like, I think he prescribed me another steroid pack, and it's like I'm just taking these back to back to back, and that is not good. And then my family goes on vacation. We drive to Pennsylvania to see my grandmother, and on the way to Pennsylvania, I got a call. My results came back, and I had antibodies that were specific to lupus, and so boom, we couldn't write it out. But he had called a rheumatologist, and basically let me see. My rheumatologist that he was gonna send me over to basically said that it's a possibility that I had drug-induced lupus just because of the medication that I was taking. So like in the back of my head, of course, I'm praying, like I was only 19 at the time. I'm praying like this doesn't really happen because like no one in my family that I know of has lupus, and we always thought like a lot of people think of lupus and they think it's like genetic, but I am a black woman and I'm between the age of 15 and whatever age that it is. So like here I am, I'm very high risk to have it, and I'm a woman too, so it's like everything was working for lupus and all of that. But so we're in Pennsylvania. The whole time I'm paranoid, I'm scared, like I'm sad, I'm in pain, like because what's going on is like they still didn't really have answers. All they knew is I had an autoimmune disease, and you hear disease and it's like you start freaking out because like it's not curable either. So it's like some autoimmune disorders are and some aren't, but the ones that were looking like what I had are not. So like of course I start freaking out. It's like I'm trying to enjoy my trip with my family and all of that, but at the back of my head I'm like panicking and all of this. And like of course, I'm being a hypochondriac and I'm all on Google looking up stuff. I'm trying to see if I had a butterfly rash and all of this stuff. And I think I have a picture, but I gained so much weight too. I think I'm gonna insert a clip because I was on all of this prednisone. I was eating all the time. And I think like there's a picture of me that I have. I really like it because my cheeks are kind of red. But I was like, is this a butterfly rash? Like I was just thinking everything that like I was being, they should have never gave us the internet because I was looking up everything. And basically like that was that. So then I started going to a rheumatologist whenever I got back. I'm trying to figure out where that started. Basically she put me on prednisone just to see, like she wanted to take more tests just to see what it was and all of that, because she couldn't really write anything out. And she was trying to see if it was like one or the other, rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. And so she kept taking tests, but she put me back on prednisone just to like keep me under control, just so the disease doesn't progress. Because one thing about lupus is like was it my liver enzymes were kind of either low or high. They were high, like we didn't want to get it worse. And so she was like, I want to keep everything under control. And because, like, a lot of people with lupus, they have a lot of organ transplants because it really attacks their organs. And so we don't want mine to progress. Like, she was like, it's a good time that we got whatever is going on just so we can keep it under control. So, like, she's still taking tests, and, like, it's, like, test over test. And I'm taking blood tests, like, every month. And basically, like, she got to the point where she was like, we can't write off lupus, we can't write off rheumatoid arthritis, and if it was the minocycline, the medication, if it was drug induced, then you would have been over it by now, because you said you weren't taking it before. It's been this many months, so it would have been over with. Like, we just have to say you have a mixed connective tissue disease, and you have both. Because, like, my levels, like, I kept, a lot of my test results came back negative, but there was always that little bit of positive in, like, certain areas to where they were like, okay, we can't write it out. But what I want to say is, like, tell y'all about how it's been for me, really. This is a part where I'm gonna try not to get emotional. See, I'm already about to cry. Where I am now is basically, like, there's certain things that I have to avoid. Like, I can't be out in, like, extreme heat. I can't be outside in the extreme cold, because those are things that can cause flare-ups. Flare-ups are basically whenever, like, your lupus or your rheumatoid arthritis is, like, just really at a high level, and, like, everything that it's affecting, it's, like, affecting at full power. So if I were to have, like, in the summer, when I was telling y'all, like, I was really sore, I couldn't walk, I was having flare-ups because I was out in the heat, and I didn't know I couldn't be out in the heat. Like, I remember I had went to a concert, outdoor festival in May, and, like, I really did pass out for a little bit, but the person that I was with basically, like, had me, and then I felt so woozy after, and I thought maybe it was because I wasn't eating enough, maybe it was because I was dehydrated, but it was because I shouldn't have been out in the heat like that, the way that I was. And so yeah, I stay inside. Like, most of the time I would go outside. I'm supposed to have on sunscreen at all times. What else? Like, hats. I'm supposed to go out in, like, full clothing. I went to a concert after I found out I had lupus, but we had already got the tickets, and it was a little late to cancel, so my doctor was like, you can go, just wear, like, full clothing. So I was out at this concert with, like, it's hot. It's an outdoor concert. Again, my concert's outside. Anyways, it was an outdoor concert for Wiz Khalifa. I had on pants, heels, feet covered, like, and all of that, and, like, this tank top, because I was like, I'm not about to be out here in all heat, even though we were under, like, a gazebo. So I at least had that going for me, but I was literally sweating. And shout out to my best friend and her boyfriend, because they were constantly checking on me. I took them to the concert with me, and they were checking to see if I was good, and they were like, just good. Like, that's the kind of people that you need to have around you, just, like, whenever you're going through something like this, because, like, people have to realize, like, it's really more dramatic than you think it seems. It's like, oh, she has lupus, well, it's not cancer. But, like, another thing about lupus is that people with lupus do have to undergo chemo. Like, I'm about to start testing another medication, and it's like a medication that you would use whenever you undergo chemo. So it's just like, it's a lot. And basically, like, with my prednisone, the worst part of being on prednisone is, like, you know, they always have, like, symptoms and side effects for certain medications, but you never really get them. The prednisone symptoms are, like, anxiety, depression, fatigue, but also, like, it was lack of sleep too. Like, it just kept you up. She was like, take it early, because you will be up all day. And I would literally be up till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I'd just be up, but I'd be so tired, and, like, I was so depressed at one point. Like, I was just so sad all the time. I was, like, always crying. What else? And then with the anxiety, like, my anxiety was really bad. I would go places and I really wouldn't be there. I'd be, like, super uncomfortable, and, like, as soon as I get out, I want to go home and all of that. So I really just, like, being cooped up in my room, but that's not good, because depression, and it was just, like, weight gain too, and, like, it's really hard for me to lose weight. It's just, like, a lot going on. Those are, like, some things to take in consideration, because, like, it's a lot, and you have to take a lot of precaution. Like, whenever you have lupus, you're not supposed to drink alcohol. Haven't even had my 21st birthday yet, so it's like, what am I gonna do for my 21st birthday? Because everybody, like, you don't have to drink, but I mean, it would be nice. But
I'm not gonna act like I didn't.
But what else?
That was besides the point.
That's what I think. And I'm still on prednisone right now, but I'm about to get off, and hopefully this next, because I just tried other medications, but I had to get back on the prednisone because it wasn't working for me. And so like that's another thing that's really hard about this is like the trial and error. Like I'm testing out new medications. Like the last medications that I tried, they take 3 to 6 months to work, and it's been like 4 months and they still have not started working, so I have to try something else. So it's like you really just have to be in pain kind of and deal with what you're dealing with until they find something that works for you. And that's really hard too, because it's like, what if you don't find anything? What if you have to do the worst? Because a lot of things about like lupus medications is they just make you worse. And I know people that I really want to try to do like natural remedies like other people do, because a lot of the medications just like don't do it for your body. They just make you more sick, and that's what I'm most afraid of. Like if y'all know Trick Daddy, if y'all know who Trick Daddy is, I'm not gonna take the Trick Daddy route, but like he does other things because he doesn't want to take the medication because they make him worse. And yes, he looks kind of like rough and all that stuff, and it's like I really hope that I don't get to that point, but like I'm gonna try to do what's best for me and for my body so that my body just doesn't deteriorate quicker than it needs to. Like I want to live a long healthy life and all of that stuff. And the other thing that scared me the most was pregnancy, because I'm already little. I'm 5 feet tall, and you know, like it's there's like a lot of complications with shorter women having babies, and I was really scared that I was already scared that I was gonna have complications and all that stuff. And I don't want to have C-sections and all that stuff, but at this point, like C-sections has to, or will most likely be the way to go for me if I have kids. And lupus just causes more complications with kids. And the next medication that I'm trying, like whenever you're pregnant, you really shouldn't be taking the medication, and it might cause complications for it. So I'm trying to figure out if it's like gonna cause problems with fertility. Like my mind is literally constantly all over the place. But my way of thinking about it is like it really helped me build my relationship with God, just because I was like, I can't live in fear. I can't, like, that's my way of thinking about it. Like, yes, sometimes it's hard, and sometimes, like, it does get emotional, and it's hard to, like, remember that. But, like, basically my favorite Bible verse is Psalms 56:4, and it's in God whose word I praise, in God I trust, and I'm not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? And like basically I take that for like the disease, everything. Like I just don't need to be afraid. It's like God got me. As long as like whatever's supposed to happen is whatever's supposed to happen. I have to take life as it goes and all of that. And yes, it's hard, and yes, it's like different, but like it's really hard, especially now just with COVID going on, because that makes me high risk. I have problems with my lungs too right now. I was supposed to have an appointment in April to get like a bronchoscopy done on my lungs, just because they're inflamed like really bad. I had asthma in high school, like allergy induced asthma, but I played sports and I would never get out of breath the way I get out of breath now. Like sometimes I'll be talking too long, y'all probably like peep me like trying to catch my breath, or if I walk upstairs, but like not when I'm at the gym, which is really weird. But like I'll just get super out of breath. So my lungs are inflamed and all of that stuff. I felt like the inhaler was making it worse, so we have to check to see if something's infected or if it's just like lupus. And that was the problem too in the summer when I couldn't breathe. But basically, like, yeah, COVID. And so I'm really high risk because I have problems with my lungs. I have an autoimmune disorder, so I'm prone, like, really easy to get infected. And it's hard for me to get over infections and all of that too. So it's just like I had to be super, super cautious. And I'm glad I have friends like that understand, like, because people really do be breaking the rules. Like, they don't care that we really should be on lockdown and we really all should be in quarantine. People are still going out to see each other and all of that. So I'm glad I just have people that understand, like, I'm not reaching out all the time just because, like, I don't want to be cool, but basically it's just like I have to keep myself together, I have to keep myself sane. And I'm really surprised and proud of myself for being like as good as I am, because you would think like having to be isolated like this with like the medications that I'm taking that I would get really, really depressed. And I've been doing really, really good, like as long as I've been trying to stay positive and make the best out of this, because this has taught me a lot about myself. Self-care, like I have to change my diet completely. Like I'm not supposed to eat red meat. I really didn't before, but like beef, burgers, come on. I gave basically all meats altogether, except for I eat chicken from time to time and mostly like seafood, fish, anything like that. But I'm mostly plant-based now, and it's probably the best thing that has happened to me. First of all, it's helped me lose weight. It's helped me lose weight. And second of all, I just feel better. I feel like it helps my body more too, and it just helps my joints too, because I still like go through having to be in pain all day, every day. Well, not all day, but every day I'm in pain. I wake up in pain. I go to sleep in pain, but like not to a point where it's unbearable, but something like that will always affect me. I think regardless of the medicate, well, with the prednisone right now, what I'm on is like my hands and my wrists are probably the worst and all of that, like where it doesn't like completely go away with medication that I'm on, but like everything else just like it gradually comes as my medication wears off and all of that. So it's just like a constant day-to-day battle, just getting through it, pushing through, and not letting it get the best of me. But I've really gotten through most of it. But another thing that I want to make note of is like, if anybody's watching this and like they know somebody with these kind of problems, it just irritated me a lot when this first started happening, because I was telling people like what was going on with me. Like whenever I first basically was like, I'm not gonna go, I can't go to this, like I can't go out with y'all because I miss 4th of July, and there are people trying to make plans with me, but I was gonna go with who I go with every year anyway. But other people were like telling me, I was like, I can't go nowhere, blah blah, and they were like, ask what's wrong, and it's like basically my joints this, that, and I knew kind of what was going on. Is like you try to explain that to them, and then like I remember somebody tried to tell me like, oh, maybe like it's just because you know, multiple people tried to tell me this, because obviously I do social media, so I'm on my phone a lot, but I'm not on my phone as much as y'all think. Like I record my videos and go take my pictures and go post my pictures and go do engagement and go, that's what it is. But people were like, I had to get off my phone, you shouldn't be on your phone all day and all that stuff, because that's really what makes it worse and all this stuff. And I remember I was at work and I really got into it with this lady. Like I tried, because I worked with women older than me, and it's like respect your elders and all that stuff, but I really tried to like keep my cool with this one lady, and I was telling her like, I can't take them outside right now because of this, like I have to wait till it gets cooler. And she was like always like pressing me, saying this and that, and I was telling her why I wasn't at work one day, and she was like, it's because you don't exercise. And I was like,
First of all,
baby, I do this, I am exercise. Like I don't understand like what she was trying to like say. I was like, I go to the gym constantly. I was like, I go to the gym at least 3 to 5 times a week. So I was like, it's not about exercise. She was just telling me like, and I was trying to explain to her what would happen, and I was already emotional at the point, and she was just yelling exercise in my face. And bro, I really wanted to go off, but like I had to keep my composure. And it's just like people not understanding what you're going through is really, really frustrating. But like I do appreciate the people in my life that actually understand. I just like don't like when people don't take it seriously, and that's kind of why I want to bring more awareness to it. But I'm just trying to think like what else is there. One thing that I will say is like with COVID going on, that's what I wanted to say earlier. One of the medications that I take, and something that people with rheumatoid arthritis, girl, now it's not the time for alarms, but people with rheumatoid arthritis and lupus and whatever other people have to take this medication called hydrochloroquine. And basically they said, do y'all hear that train? I can't, it's always something loud going on in my videos. But I think in Italy, they were testing the medication just to see if it could cure hydrochloroquine. People heard that and they ran. Like people was trying to get their doctors to prescribe it and all of that stuff. And it's like celebrities really. So I saw a celebrity. He actually had to like tell people like relax, because people actually need that. And that's the hard thing about times like this, is because like this is really happening, this is real life. But I really hope that y'all can take something about this, and I'll probably do a part 2 to the video, because I'm sure I missed something. But maybe that's just because I thought I was really gonna cry during this, because this is such a touchy topic for me, and I was so scared. I don't even like telling people like what goes on, because I don't want people feeling bad for me, and I don't want people taken seriously. Because once you tell somebody and then it's like, I can't do this, I can't do that, and they don't understand, it just gets under your skin. Because I get irritated a lot more easily now. Like mood swings is something that I had, and if I ever went left on you, like I apologize, but but it was the medication. But I'll probably make a part 2 to this because I really thought I was gonna cry. I don't like, yeah, like I said, I don't like telling people about this because it's just a really touchy topic about me. And anytime I talk about it, I get really emotional and cry because it's something that's really, really, really hard for me. And it's like been a long journey and it hasn't even been a year yet. But hopefully y'all got something from this and y'all took something from this. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.
See you all around my way. Didn't mean to say hi, but I'm just way too shy.